Yo, haha, Miltnificent.
What is good, YouTube? Your boy Miltnificent coming back with another shoe review, man. Today we got the Yeezy SL-02 on the Miltnificent channel. Now, just a quick summary of what happened. So if you recall, earlier this year during the Super Bowl, Ye drops pretty much the SL-02, which is kind of the shoe. You already had the SL-01, which is this, which was a slip-on. And then you also had the SL-03, which I think was actually the boot. So when you look at this, it was one of those things where I remember when it first initially dropped, this is before the whole Yeezy.com shutdown, people got the order in during Super Bowl Sunday. And what happened was, I think later on as the year progressed, right after the Yeezy.com shutdown, what happened next was crazy. You know, some people were saying that when they ordered the SL-02, that they got the SL-01 instead. So we're going to see this thing for the first time, and I am so excited to have this on the Miltnificent channel. I'm going to show you some kind of like setups that I have with the whole Yeezy gear, because it's actually kind of phenomenal. Let's get straight into it. So, of course, when you see the SL-02, it's much like the SL-01 in terms of packaging. You're going to see the inside label, which actually has, you just probably see a picture if you can't see it, but it has SL-02. Much like when you got the SL-01 slides, kind of the same thing. That's how you can kind of see the difference between the two. So that's why I put that there. So here we go, man. Boom! The SL-02 on the Miltnificent channel. This is one of those things. Now, if anybody wondering, is this the order that I got from, I want to say earlier this year? Actually, when Yeezy.com came back up, I ordered the SL-02 just to see if it would come in. And man, did it come in. So I'm going to kind of go over some quick differences between the SL-02 and the SL-01, but you're going to notice in terms of style and fitting. I can say this right now, straight off the bat. If you order the SL-02, it is definitely true to size. In fact, I wear a size 12.5, and I feel like after putting these on, I could have wore a size 12 and it still fit. And that's just because I'm guessing the design and the fit is so thin to a certain point. It's just EVA foam that you have enough kind of room towards the footbed of the actual shoe or towards the toe area where it's wide enough and it's spacious enough. And you can see right there towards the heel, and I'll actually show you exactly what I'm talking about. Towards the heel, there's enough space for your heel to go back, so it gives more room to the front. So, you know, that's just my opinion. Any half sizes, I would say just go a half size down. 12.5, wear a size 12. 11.5, size 11. You'll probably get away with it. If you want the extra room, then you would go your half size up. But yeah, this is the Yeezy SL-02. One of the things I thought that was cool about this was the molding of this shoe. You take this out, and there's actually a shoe tree, a wrap shoe tree, in both pairs, actually, if you didn't know. But this kind of took me off. But I'm guessing that if they print this as a one mode upper, and you want to kind of keep the shape within, this would make sense. So let me take this shoe tree out. It's in both pairs, if I'm not mistaken. One of the differences that you're going to see with the whole SL-01 and SL-02 series, when you look at the outsole, you look at the ridges. So I can distinctly tell you right now, just straight off the bat, you can see there's a difference between the design, where this is size 14, and I would say that's size 13, but the ridges here is more outbound, kind of like expanded more, so it's bigger than this. This is more refined and defined. Of course, they got the size towards the bottom, size 14 on this side, size 13 on this side. But when you look at the shape, you look at the texture. This is more like of a matte finish, and this is more of a glossy finish. So I look at this, and when I put the slippers on, it does feel a little bit more softer, but not by much, because this is more of a shoe. So again, I'm going to show you kind of an example of how I would wear something like this, because I'd imagine that when you put your pants on, if you have like, not towards the cuff, if you put something that covers this, I don't know, a lot of people, it's going to throw people off when you see this. It looks more like a traditional shoe, but it's something that you could wear, in my opinion, and it depends on the function. But you can do what you want. You know, you get what I'm saying? But if it's like, let's just say you're at like, and I know a lot of people going to question me when I say this, but like a wedding or something like that, you can actually throw this on because it looks like an actual shoe, but it's just EVA foam. What you're going to notice about the SL-02 is that there is kind of like an indent towards the inside. And the reason why they did that is for like arc support. You're not really going to get that with the SL-02 because it's, depending on if you actually have it, it's flat. It's flat inside, but it's designed. It's a slipper. It's not supposed to give you arc support, things like that. It's just something relaxing that you can wear around the house, occasionally kind of outside. And I felt like they designed this one more so with an arc on the inside for your foot because you're going to be wearing this for a long period of time. I will say this, that if you put your finger in, you're going to notice that my finger doesn't go all the way down towards the outsole, specifically because I would consider this the midsole if this was a midsole, but there's foam from here to here. So you figure my finger that goes down stops right here. So you have like a little bit of layer right here, whereas the Yeezy slip-on, kind of the same thing. It's just that it's a little bit thinner. So what that means is that you're going to be, when you put these on, you'll have a little bit of more height than you would with the slip-ons. Not by much, but you're kind of like rising off the ground, if that makes sense. Another thing that I noticed, put this right here, the width of the actual shoe. So if you look at the SL-02 and you look at the SL-01, this is a lot more, I know this is a lot more narrow and redefined, whereas this is kind of like wide. So the slip-on is wide, this is thin, but you know, don't get lost by deception because when you put this on, there's a lot of room in this. Now, for those that get your slip-ons, or at least your SL-02, I should say, the shoe, and you feel like it may be too big, hey, do the same thing. I would suggest trying the same thing you did with the SL-01, where the trick is to throw it in the dryer and see if it can shrink. It is made from the same material. I think the only difference is when you look at how plush this feels, because it actually feels really plush if you can see that. I feel like the SL-01 is slightly, and I mean really slightly, more plush, a little bit more plush than this, but not by much. But comment below, man. Let me know what you think about the Yeezy SL-02. Man, I thought that this was going to be a unicorn because nobody really knew what it looked like. So I'd imagine that because put this right here, because the SL-01 and its design, and the SL-02 and its design, I imagine that the Yeezy SL-03, kind of the boot, would have this similar EVA one molded foam, and it kind of makes sense. But comment below, again, let me know what you think about the Yeezy SL-02 on the Miltnificent channel. Man, I've been wanting this for a minute, but I'm glad that as I'm stacking the whole Yeezy series, I think I got the SL-01 down to a T. All three colors, man. You can tell right now that just trying to get the collection in. We'll see what happens next. I will be looking on Yeezy.com for another product that I'm not going to say just yet, but I'm going to order it, and if it comes in, I'll put that also on the Miltnificent channel. But for now, let's do that on feet for the Yeezy SL-02. I'll call it the shoe because it really does look like a shoe. It's just geared towards comfort. I am out, and you guys stay blessed.